We're seriously considering shaving our heads after what we've discovered.
I'm Jose from Houston, Texas. Good mythical morning.
Good mythical morning.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Rhett and Link Kommunity, where mythical beasts gather and cross-pollinate. Over 25,000 of you have joined the crowd over there. Let's keep it going. RhettandLinKommunity.com.
Thank you for joining that, and thank you for joining us today. Good mythical morning. This is a show unlike any other show on the internet.
Really?
It may be an acquired taste, but thank you for acquiring it and for inquiring that other people perquire to it.
There's no other choir words other than inquire and acquire.
Yeah.
Disquire? Let's disquire this show. That would be,
I think,
to quit it.
Squire. You're my squire.
Really?
Yeah, that's also a word. Good news for balding men and for people who are looking to change their self-image in a positive way. Study that I just read and I want to share with you could have drastic impact on the way that we look. What? And what?
I was about to say
and the
something.
way that our lives, the quality of our lives here.
I was going to cut you off and say, you've been doing research, because I wanted to go.
Oh, yeah, do it. Do that. Okay, CBS News article talks about Dr. Albert Manns, who himself had a receding hairline. He decided to shave his head and realized that he was perceived, you're clapping him.
Yeah.
He was perceived differently. So he decided to do some experiments because I guess this is his field, an experimenter.
Yeah, self-experimentation.
He tested other people's perception of men with shaved heads, and all three experiments that he conducted found similar results. A man's shorn scalp, that means shaved head, was linked with dominance. In other words, men with shaved heads were perceived as powerful by others. And I think maybe this is not news. You know, shaved heads on people, they kind of look tougher.
Yep.
Tougher. So, but they always need experiments to prove these things, I guess, to the naysayers. No. But yeah, I may be a naysayer, actually.
I think there's actually one of those Time Warner Cable commercials where it talks about the progression of things that happens.
Yeah,
and you shave your head to sell it to somebody because you can't pay your bill or something, and then you're perceived as tougher, then you get beaten up and left in a ditch. So that actually preceded this study.
The first study, 59 college students looked at 25 photos of men enrolled in a business school program. 10 of the men had shaved heads, while the rest wore their hair in various styles and lengths.
Ponytails, mohawks, pigtails.
The volunteers rated the photos of men with shaved heads as more dominant. They looked more powerful, influential, and authoritative.
And more bald.
Or more shaved. Maybe they weren't necessarily bald, but they decided to shave their heads.
Well, then they became bald when they shaved their heads.
Well, let me see what we really think of this. I wanted to put this to the test with some famous people. So feel free to write it in the comments, or just think in response to what I'm saying, as I'm asking you to think in response to famous shaved people, their heads. Not like their armpits or their legs or like swimmers or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm still talking about heads. And you tell me if you think that they are more dominant and tough.
Than if they had hair?
Yeah.
This is a horrible science. Just side note.
Well, he's already done the science.
What's the control group here?
What do you mean, the control group?
I'm thinking about people, what they would be like if they had hair. That's my control group?
No, yeah.
And I'm one person. We need like 25 people.
But they've already done the experiment. I'm just seeing what you think, dude.
Oh, okay.
Don't scrutinize my thing. I barely know what control group means.
Okay.
Bryan Cranston. Now this is Walter from Breaking Bad.
Walter White was not intimidating with hair, and then when he shaved his head, he became very intimidating.
I mean, that's an understatement. So I think he's the poster child for probably the whole study, or men shaving their heads left and right, and getting into creating illegal substances.
Yes. Okay.
In illegal
places. It holds true for him, definitely.
Samuel L. Jackson. He's bald. Shaved head, too.
I find him more intimidating with hair.
You're thinking about like the wig when he was in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, like the
Jerry curl?
The Jerry curl. That's very intimidating to me.
I think it was the gun and the swagger.
I almost think he's friendly with the shaved head.
Well, think about Ving Rhames from Pulp Fiction. He was very
Intimidating.
very authoritative. Bruce Willis.
Definitely more intimidating bald.
Right, we're not talking about moonlighting.
Bruce
Willis.
Yeah, moonlighting
Going
Bruce
way
Willis
back.
was not intimidating at all.
That was a television show.
Almost inviting.
In the 80s where he had hair and Sybil Shepherd was in it. Michael Jordan. You have to think about this. The most dominant force on the basketball court
He's
is not
intimidating.
perceived as dominant to
No,
you?
he is intimidating. I'm going to the control group in my mind, which is him with hair. I'm going back to the college days, and I'm thinking about, yeah, he's more intimidating without hair, definitely.
He wasn't even good at basketball when he played in college.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Michael Jordan didn't even start playing basketball until he was a junior in high school. That's true.
Uh-huh.
It is true, right?
He also had hair then.
Mm-hmm. So think about that. One of the most, for some reason, the first person that comes to my mind when I think about a bald person, Howie Mandel.
Who we actually met last week.
We did. In his office, we met Howie Mandel. You may have seen my tweet about the fist bump.
We fist bumped with Howie.
So we're able to say firsthand whether in the room is he authoritative and dominant.
I would say he carries a certain authority, but I would not say
He also
that
seems like a nice guy. He's a comedian.
He's not intimidating. He's just very welcoming.
I don't know. There was a little intimidation thing going on in the room. Like the other guy did most of the talking. So there was, in silence, with the baldness, there was an intimidation factor there. Like, oh, I'm going to dictate how you greet me. It's going to be with a fist bump, that kind of thing.
Granted.
I respect him for that. Dr. Evil, or Evil.
Not intimidated by him.
Really?
Find him funny.
Okay, what about this? Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. Well, I'm scared of Dr. Phil. I have been for quite some time. I do not want to meet that man on the street. I would not want to cross that man.
Really?
Oh, no, not for a second.
He seems like a friendly fatherly
No, you
type.
think that. You think that.
And finally, Uncle Fester.
Scary, not intimidating, but scary and standoffish.
Okay, going back to the study here, a second experiment for the same guy. 344 adults were shown photographs of 4 different men. Here's the funny thing. One photo was of the man's real hair, and a second shot was of the same man, but his head was digitally altered to remove all of his hair. And here's what happened. Adult men still rated the digitally shaved heads as more dominant than the coiffed counterpart. In fact, researchers say it was largely due to perceiving men with shorn scalps as having more confidence in masculinity.
Well, this is convenient that there are such a thing as digitally shorn heads because I took the liberty of going and downloading an app in the App Store.
So this is your test,
Yeah.
right? We took pictures of ourselves and we didn't take time to Photoshop it. We just used the app and made ourselves bald. So what you tell us, are we more intimidating and masculine looking like this?
And there you are, Link. Wow, don't ever do this, first of all.
Well,
I think
it's not shaved on the side.
yeah, you look like Bozo. The problem with this technique and this app is it just balds you on top. I definitely think that if you had to choose between full head of hair or just bald on top, you have to go full bald in order to get the intimidation effect. Because right now, you just look like
a loser.
Somebody I wouldn't get 10 feet from you. Definitely wouldn't let my children get 10 feet from you.
Okay, now let's look at you. It almost looks like you have 2 horns.
Yeah.
Your hair on the sides, it's kind of brushed out.
Now, I think I might do this. I think at some point I actually may sport this.
I think you were trying to give a facial expression of intimidation, but it just looks like you're about to cry when your head's like that.
So
It's like a tear's about to flow.
For me, the lesson learned here looking at these pictures and taking the study into account is that if you're a man out there and you're losing your hair and you know the inevitable conclusion of this receding hairline is a bald head,
You need to go all the way.
At some point, and I'd say the point is when you are now doing things with your hair to make the scalp be covered. You got to just embrace it. I can't tell you how many people I've known that started to experience that, and then when they went bald, you're like, oh wow, you're cool now.
Right.
Now,
cool,
if you have
assertive, dominating, in charge.
If you have
the science proves it. Go for it.
Poorly shaped noggin.
It doesn't even matter.
Well,
No, it doesn't matter. Even if you have a big dent from some weird accident, you need to just go for it. Because even it's like, yeah, I can show you that my head looks weird, but I'm still so dominant that I'm going for it.
But you could do like what Bret Michaels does and just wear a wig and then put a bandana around it, and he puts the wig and the bandana on like one of those things you buy at Party City, and he just wears that all the time. Everybody thinks that Bret Michaels has this amazing hair. Ladies, he's completely bald under there.
Really?
Yes, it's fake hair and a bandana.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know this?
And you're recommending that?
If you got a dent in your head, I think you could do the Bret Michaels thing.
Oh, man. Like, oh my goodness. I think the other application is if we really need to go into a situation and dominate, we need to shoot first.
If we've ever got like a really big idea, and we're like pitching some movie studio on something like $1 million movie or something, or several $1 million movie, we've got to go in bald, and that's it. Suits and ties and completely shaved heads.
We'll do it. We're not above it. We don't care about our hair. I think we've certainly established that in previous episodes.
Yeah.
All right, we're ending this episode of Good Mythical Morning. I think we've enriched people's lives, and a few of you are going over the edge into the world of dominance. Congratulations.
Looking for our lost cat chocolate.
Who thinks of this stuff?
Chocolate!
Chocolate! Kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty. That's how my grandma calls cats. Kitty, 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 kitty. Chocolate.
He's lost in here?
Yeah, he's somewhere in here. Come on, we got a little treat for you, Chocolate. You can be on Good Mythical Morning.
I think he's running away. I don't think he's going to come out of hiding in response to that.